Alex, and this is the Weekends Over podcast, and we're going to go ahead jump right into it. So, Taylor, can you give us an update for our picks of last week?
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't use us for sneaks or locks anytime soon, unless Max did have a good week. Yeah, Max went 2-0. Yeah, just real quick on our sneaky picks, and then I'll get into records and overall records. Me and Alex both went over. All of our sneaks and both of our locks did not hit. In fact, Louisiana Monroe got the shit beat out of them. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Max though called Boston College, and he called his lock, which was Boise State covering UNLV. So shout out Max. Max also won our week pick'em. He went 7-4, bringing his record to 17-14. Alex had pretty mediocre week, 4-7.
Let's go.
Basically what I did last week brought him to 16-15, and I went 6-5, which isn't terrible. But when you go like 1-9 the week before, you're like behind everybody. So I'm in last place at 14-17. Um, yeah, that's all I got on records.
We're all pretty close, but let me just say this: if I can go 4-7 and still be in the positive, then I've been doing pretty well. We're all kind of close together though, so that's okay, Max. Congratulations. I will say for myself, it's not very smart to pick Florida State for anything. For some reason, I believed in them last week. I thought they could cover, and they did not. But yeah. So we already started. This is episode 3 of the Weekend's Over, and we'll go ahead and start talking. This is 3 of college football, right? This is 4.
This
Yeah.
is what?
Is it 3 or 4?
Oh, you're right. It's
What?
4.
3 or 4?
It's 4. It's 4. It's
It's 4.
episode 4 of our
Yeah.
Monday show.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I kind of
Yeah.
lost track of things, but yeah. This
3
is
for
week
you.
4. No, this is 4 for me in the college one. I didn't do the NFL one last week. Sorry, guys. But okay.
Slap your neck.
Yeah, you probably need to. But let's go ahead and start talking about what happened last week, and we'll go into some of our takeaways. So I'll go into my first one. Notre Dame kills Navy. A lot of people, including Taylor Thompson, thought Navy had a chance. Max hit this one on the head last week, talking about he doesn't think they have a chance. Notre Dame really just dominated the game. I will say Navy played very uncharacteristically with their turnovers. They had a lot of fumbles, and that pretty much just took them out of the game. If they were going to beat Notre Dame, I think they had to play a pretty well-rounded game that involved not many turnovers and them controlling the ball possession. So they did not do that. Taylor, how did you feel about Navy playing last week? I know they probably upset
It
you.
was a war crime. I think we have like a treaty or something like that that makes that illegal. So if anybody wants to get into that, no, I mean Navy can't get behind. So once they got behind 2 scores, it was over. And then they started trying to chase, and then they fumbled a bunch. Max was right. I mean, the I still think Army might probably is better to give Notre Dame a game.
Army's the better team out of those.
So yeah, I realized about a drive when they went down there and scored, I was like, oh, it's over. They can't stop them. So yeah,
Max,
that's all I have on that.
how do you feel about Notre Dame doing that to our troops? What does this mean in the larger context of things?
It doesn't mean anything. Navy's just not very good.
Mm.
Max, do you think
said
that
Notre Dame would beat the shit out of them?
Max, do you think that this will disqualify those set of players from being sent to Ukraine? Do you think they lost on purpose not to go to Ukraine?
No, they're definitely getting sent now. So
I mean, as a punishment, I think it's only right for that to happen. Okay, my next takeaway is Indiana controls the game against Washington. Uh, Indiana's quarterback didn't play the entire game or just some of it, Taylor?
It was just some of it.
Okay.
I mean, I had this on TV3 without the volume on, so I wasn't playing. Like I saw the pick six, which was one of the worst picks I've ever seen thrown. I've never seen a quarterback midway. Did y'all see the pick six that I'm talking about, where he's throwing the screen pass sideways and he tries to catch it as he's throwing it because the DB's just standing right there and like,
so dumb.
hand me the ball. Yeah. And he like grabs the end of the ball and it like flips out like that. Yeah. Indiana still, well, go ahead. But yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, Indiana is still really good. I mean, one thing that they've been doing a lot recently, or in the like this season, have been having to outscore teams, and I like the way that their defense played this game. Actually, if their defense can play like that, I think it even helps them out even more. For me, it's just hard naturally to trust Indiana because they're a basketball school. So Signetti's got them rolling. Who do they play? Is it Ohio State next week? They
Michigan
play
State.
Michigan,
So they play Michigan State,
and
then they play Michigan, and then they play Ohio
yeah,
State.
that's the order of it. So I mean, honestly, I think they're
They
gonna
kind of get a wind up to them.
they
Like
get
they
they're
got to
gonna
play
be
Washington because they had not played anybody. Like I'm not saying Washington's good, but we talked about it. But it's like they were a step up from what they had been playing, like because Nebraska was the best before that. So then they'll go play Michigan State, who's not great, but at least it's a road game. And then they get to Michigan, who's it's not normal Michigan, but still they're they got their name on their chest. So
yeah.
and
I
then it'll
mean,
be the test, which the Ohio State game to me looks a lot more winnable than it was I thought last week for Indiana
especially
after
with how
watching.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Max, anything to add to Indiana beating Washington? Anything new that you learned about them?
Um, maybe better than I thought because I was already high on them. I mean, they handled him pretty well with a backup quarterback. Shows a lot to me.
I,
Yeah.
their defense playing good while their offense kind of went kind of dumb for a long time was good because I know we knew their offense was good, and I know they held Nebraska 7, but I needed to see their defense play at least against a competent team. I mean,
Hmm.
so like Max said, Max has been on for a while. Shout out Max.
Yep. They're looking good. Like I said, we'll see more and more about them. I do think that these next two games will be really good to see how they play because it's going to be hard not to start looking at the Ohio State game and kind of getting ahead of yourself. But I know Signetti's a really good coach and he'll be able to make sure that they're on track and keep that. So, I mean, one loss, I mean, they go into Big Ten championship game most likely just to have to beat just one loss. So I think they might kind of start getting close to being a lock for the playoffs. So
I bet his name comes up if Kentucky fires Stoops.
I don't really see the difference of going being an Indiana or Kentucky. I
They'll
think he's
try.
yeah, I mean definitely, but still, he might eventually be the Auburn head coach, but we'll have to see about that one.
Alabama coach.
Hey, before I get let Taylor kind of talk about his points, I do want to give a quick shout out to Kennesaw State. Thank you so much for doing that for all the college football fans in here in the nation, beating Liberty. No one wanted them to make the college football playoffs. We saw what Oregon did to them last year, and it was only going to happen the same thing. So Kennesaw State gets their first win against an undefeated Liberty team. That is just great for us, and yeah, it was amazing. I think they were like 20 something point underdogs and they go in
Yeah,
there and beat them.
yeah. I don't. That's got to be one of the bigger upsets in a long time.
It is. It's
Because
just
because Kennesaw State just moved up, correct? That's their first ever D1 win,
yeah.
correct?
Yes, that was their first one. So shout out to them. I'll go ahead and let you go ahead and talk about what you want to, Taylor.
So I was gonna touch on A&M before I got into Auburn. Um, I wanted to say coming out of that, like I learned a lot about A&M, and I even had a point where I was gonna make a joke and be like, "What? I mean, aren't they're clearly the best team in Texas?" I still think they actually might be the best team in Texas, but that's more to do with Texas than Texas A&M. Uh, LSU, I don't understand what LSU was thinking. Like they're up 17-7. They've kind of dominated the game. And I mean, I know that, a couple like one of their scores probably should have been a pick or whatever. It got lucky and he housed it, but Nussmeier looked like me when I'm playing NCAA 25 and I get bored and I start throwing across the middle of the field, like running back, like I'm a shortstop throwing to first base on that. I don't understand. To me, that just tells me more about how bad LSU is than how good A&M is. I can't fully trust A&M. Me and Alex talked about this before we recorded because they're having to switch a quarterback out every game. And I mean, like, I don't personally think Marcel Reed, they could like win an SEC championship with Marcel Reed. I if they're gonna be good, it's gonna have to be with Weigman. I think Max. Don't you think that?
I disagree. Um,
You disagree? Okay.
look, I I think they have a better shot with Reed. I think Weidman, his only good game is against shitty Missouri. Like other than that, he hasn't looked good. I mean, I know Reed has a bit of a ceiling on him, at least this year, as far as passing wise. But if they can do what they did against LSU, Reed doesn't have to, be an elite drop back passer, but he can hit a couple here and there, and then use his legs the rest of the way. I mean, you saw it was the change in the game. I mean, it completely froze LSU's defense. I mean, at the beginning of the game, first half, they were flying around there, being aggressive. Once Reed came in, they got froze,
Yeah,
and they didn't know what to do.
yeah.
But I also know that when they play a team will be better prepared for him. I know that, but
I don't
I
know
still
when they
think he
play a
gives you a
good team.
better chance.
I just don't know when they play a good team until
Texas.
they play Texas. And I mean, like we're talking about South Carolina, and we'll get into that in picks and how like that's a sneaky game. I think, no pun intended
I
on our
think
picks,
South Carolina is a good defense. I
but
mean, I
not a good
think
offense. That's what
A and
gonna
M.
be.
Yeah,
Well, so the
Um,
thing for me, like I definitely
yeah.
agree. You're gonna have to make a pick though. You can't keep going back and forth. That's the thing. It's never worked and it's not gonna work. It just you have to have your offense to have an identity. And I think there's two separate identities when it comes to the offense you're choosing each quarterback. If you're gonna go with Wagman, you're gonna try and throw it more than typical. If you're gonna go with Reed or whatever his name is, you're gonna be able to have that dimension where you can run it more, maybe do some more read options and stuff like that. I personally, I don't know how much of the game changed from the change at quarterback as opposed to the defense started killing LSU. Like you said, quarterback for LSU, is it Nussmeier, correct?
Yeah.
yeah, I know, like the defense
He,
was the difference.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The Nussmeier,
LSU looked like they didn't know what to do. I
yeah,
did like.
exactly. Like their quarterback was, he was seeing ghosts out there, and I think that's what it's come down to. And like me and you were talking about previously, you're gonna have to make the choice because A&M, you have South Carolina. That defense is good, and even I hate saying this as a Bama fan, you're gonna have Auburn at Auburn. It's gonna be a tough place to play. Auburn's gonna that's gonna be their game, their last one of the season, and it's gonna be crazy. And I mean, y'all
They
watched against
that's
Kentucky;
the
they played
they
good.
always say Hugh Freeze like loses a game he shouldn't in a year, and then he wins a game that he shouldn't, and
Exactly.
that has that written all over it. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, like it'll probably be a night game in Jordan Hare, and if they run Auburn's defense is actually pretty legit, which I'm about to get into.
They are. One last thing before I know we're talking kind of we brought up A&M and we're kind of hating on them. It was a great win for them. They needed it. If they, I mean, this put
I,
them in. I think they'll probably be in everybody's top 12 once we get into it
oh no,
now.
yeah, I mean
So,
I think they're in the driver's seat to be the team that plays Georgia in the SEC championship right now. I'm
mm,
because of their schedule. I'm just talking more of like in the playoff. I don't know,
mm,
but they just they could always lose because of that. You know the saying like if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback.
mm, yeah.
So pick one. And if it's Marcel Reed, that's fine, but just stay with him and make your offense for him. But I don't have anything else on A&M. I mean, good win for them. LSU, I don't think LSU's is. I think LSU proved. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Alabama's going to beat LSU by a lot in a couple weeks. By the way,
Mm,
but um,
I don't know
that's
about
all I have
that.
on that. Anybody else have anything on A&M before I get into my Auburn Tigers?
No, go ahead.
So Auburn making a case for the top 12 for the playoff committee with a big primetime win over Kentucky, probably the most watched game of the week, wouldn't y'all say? I mean, it was just electric. Two elite teams playing each other. Okay, so seriously, I will say this though. Watching Auburn's freshmen like jump up and down and do backflips after they won makes me feel very good that they're not leaving. Like I'm like Cam Coleman jumping around. They were legit happy. And I mean like not many people if you're not bought in, then you're not happy about improving to 3-5. Same thing with I'm glad Hugh finally just fucking and he even said in the press conference, he's like, I wanted to throw the ball. And I'm like, No, no, you do what you
No.
just did. You have the best running back in the league. Let him run. I mean, Jarquez Hunter, 280.
Give
He
it to
became
him 30 times.
the sixth running back in Auburn football history to eclipse 3,000 total rushing yards. Shout out Jarquez Hunter. I mean, he's been there in nothing but shitty times. Like he came there for during Harsin, and he's been there, stayed there. I mean, he could have transferred. Like I know for a fact, Ole Miss wanted him to jump in the portal last year, and he said no. Just a great win, and it's the freshmen that played good on defense. We had six freshmen out there at one time on that goal line stand we had at the end, and it's a redshirt freshman that picked it off. Auburn's freshmen have not been the issue this year. It's been their seniors. I think that's the most frustrating thing because you can at least be like, when a freshman makes a frustrating play, you go, "Okay, dude, you're 17 years old." But you got fucking Keontae Scott and Austin Keys. And I don't want to like name too many, but like there's that make the dumb late hits and like busted coverages. I mean, dude, you're 50 year seniors. So it was cool to get a win. It was cool to get a win. I think Auburn has a chance. If they can beat Vandy, then they will be 5-5 going into. I think Monroe scared me until they lost to South Alabama by 80. But they could be 5-5 going into their last two games of the year, and somehow only needing to win one of those to make a bowl game. Which, if you'd have told me that about a month ago, I'd have told you you're crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all care about talking about Auburn, but I guess one more
Too
thing:
much.
the field goal. We still had we still had a dumb play. Like the field goal fiasco at the end of the half. I mean, Peyton Thorne's still fucking stupid most of the time. I mean, the pick wasn't his fault. Malcolm Simmons ran the wrong route, but uh, you can't take a sack when you don't have any timeouts. Throw the ball out of bounds. Throw the ball past the chains and throw it out of bounds. I don't know. Anybody got anything else on Auburn? I just talked for about 5 minutes.
I know y'all's kicker has something wrong with his stomach or something.
Diverticulitis. He was 165 and then he lost 55 pounds. Got all the way under 100 pounds. So that's why they had
Yeah,
to start um, their the freshman from Auburn High, and then they just brought him back in.
yeah, he looked so small, but like I know he had something. That
Yeah,
was my.
diverticulitis. I think they had to take
He
out
should
his
have played
intestines.
anyway, bitch.
What'd you
Yeah,
say?
he said
I
that
said he
he.
should have played anyway, bitch.
But yeah, if I don't know if you have anything to add about how Auburn's going to beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, I mean,
Yeah, maybe still. Max, all right, go ahead, jump to the Bama game.
Alabama dominate Missouri. Um,
and the
you
ghost
know
of
the
Brady Cook.
the ghost of Brady Cook, the ghost of Eli Drinkowitz yelling "fuck you" on the sideline. Um, when the other team's coach is doing that, you're doing pretty good. Um, but Bama fans wouldn't look too much into it. Missouri sucks. Their offense sucks, and they had a backup quarterback in, which double sucks.
And they didn't have their starting running back.
Yeah. So defense dominated. They should have dominated. They did. Offense started out slow, and they started to get going, especially with the run game later in the game, which that's encouraging to see. Milrow still didn't look. He wasn't bad, but he didn't look on point, like he did against Georgia or anything like that. But he looked like he's moving a little bit better than he did last week. But we got a bye week now, so he can heal up some if he's got some injuries. But had to take care of that one. Good win. Now you got the big one coming up. That this is a playoff game before the playoffs in 2 weeks, so
Yep. Um,
we'll
it was
see.
definitely encouraging to see us start the running ball. You could definitely tell that we were trying to make it. Like we are trying to do that. We need to do that, especially against LSU. We're gonna have to be able to do that.
I
Jalen
have a question
Monroe, yeah.
real quick before you get into Miller because it's about Miller. Say y'all lose another game before the playoffs. What year is Milrow? Is he like a redshirt sophomore or is he a junior?
Junior.
Junior. What are the odds that he transfers? And then I'm not saying like not saying like do you think there's a better shot if he's playing college next year it's for another team other than Alabama? And I'm saying that could be mutually a mutual thing. Not that he leaves without y'all trying to keep him, but y'all might just
I think
because I
it's
don't know that he doesn't work for that system. He
I
just
think it's
doesn't.
more likely that he goes to the NFL than going to another team. I know it's like NFL stock has gone down, but I still see him probably as probably a first round QB still, just because teams are going to be looking for him. Um, I think he's a
I don't know. I
project
disagree
quarterback.
on first round quarter. I don't not a
I,
first round quarterback.
I still think he is.
On first round. I feel like if he has another game like he did against Georgia, where he just flashes so much, it's like, all right, if he can do that, if we can find a way to get him to do that more consistently, then I think will get drafted in the first round. But if he doesn't have a game like that the rest of the year, then no, I see him more as kind of a third, fourth, fifth round. Get people just trying to take a flyer on him just because he's there.
I think he'll probably have at least one or two more. Maybe not the craziest. I think if we make the playoffs, then yeah, he'll go first because have to kind of be on his back. But I honestly I don't see him going anywhere else. I will say, I mean, if he goes somewhere else, Ty Simpson, let's see it because I know he's there and he's a really good quarterback. He's been there for a while, so I actually be excited to see him play some. But I don't think he's going anywhere else. I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
All right. That's kind of it for the Bama game. Let's talk about some cold takes. I'll start it off. I don't know why I said Florida State last week.
Because
It
you're a
seemed
dumbass.
it seemed like fun. Um, Man, they've been playing close games, and yeah, I thought maybe they can just cover that spread. I don't know if it's really a cold take. I think this is me just admitting to y'all that I'm an idiot. So there you go. It wasn't a good week of picks for me last week anyway. So we'll just add it to just a bad week. But yeah, Florida State, just don't pick them unless you're gonna pick the other team to cover. Uh, Taylor, come on.
Man, I guess don't pick fucking Louisiana Monroe either. I can't comment on this too much because if I told you I watched the game, I'd be lying. And I had about five TVs going at once I was down at the beach, and they weren't on one of them. But I looked at the fucking score, and they're getting blown out, and I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, that Vegas knows more than me. I mean,
I didn't
that
see
line
that one.
so this is what we're gonna get into. A lot of times Vegas sets a line like that, and everybody jumps on the other way. Vegas knows what they're talking about.
I didn't see that happening.
Auburn Vandy. Auburn Vandy.
I thought Louisiana Monroe would be able to. I thought they'd beat South honestly. So I didn't understand that one, but.
Yeah, it wasn't close either.
Mm-mm. All right, we'll go ahead and head into the Heisman picks for this week. Well, you
How
got our
about those odds?
yeah. I was gonna say, look at them. Oregon QB Dylan Gabriel, new Heisman favorite, plus 225. I can tell you what, he's not my Heisman favorite. I am still on Ashton Genty. Everyone's saying he had a bad game against UNLV, but 120 something yards is still pretty stout when you know the other team is stacking the box each and every time. And some of those, I mean, he didn't have like that big long run that he normally has, but if you just watch him, he is throwing grown men to the ground and they're bouncing off of him. He is at plus 425. Cam Ward plus 275. Travis Hunter re-enters after his great game plus 400. Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik plus 2,500. Carson Beck plus 4,000. Jackson Dart, I don't know why he's in this list. I'm not even going to tell you his odds.
He played good against Oklahoma.
He's not winning the Heisman.
No, I know, but I mean the odds don't suggest he is.
Yeah,
That's
I'm just
plus
saying
5,000, not minus 5,000.
he's not allowed to be in the list anymore. Anyways,
Mm.
the real Heisman finalist Jalen Milroe is at plus five, plus 5,000. Yeah, just told y'all my favorite. Max, who's yours?
Um, I still like Genty. I mean, like I said, I don't think that you know 100 something yards isn't bad either. That's pretty good
Yeah.
against a team that's not a bad team. I mean, he also ran for almost 200 against Oregon, so I
Mm-hmm.
still like Genty.
Taylor, who do you say?
So even though I did not believe I'm saying this, I think it's Cam Ward. I think I like Cam Ward. And I keep saying every week he's going to take himself out of it. But Miami's defense is so bad that he gets to score a bunch of points.
Mm-hmm.
And their schedule is pretty much, I think I got a sneaky one this week, but not like sneaky lose, like sneaky. Like I don't know if I'd take the cover, but he's gotten better decision making wise since the Cal game. I will have to admit that. I know because our first episode we were pretty hard on him, but yeah, I think Cam's there. If I was betting it, I would wait because I like the trend of they keep dropping Genty back, and then my sneak would be Genty. I'd love for him to drop to like plus 800 or something like that again.
We're
I
not
don't know
really
if it's gonna
talking
happen.
about Dylan Gabriel. He had a great game against Illinois, and he's playing good, number one team. So there's a reason he is the favorite now. So they do get Penn State, don't they? Or is
No,
that
they're playing Michigan. They're
they're
playing
playing Michigan?
Michigan
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
Michigan.
Yes. So that'll be interesting. Michigan still has a good defense, but I think he'll probably still have a great game against them.
Oregon's. Shout out Oregon because they looked really shitty to start the year.
They did
They've like slowly just without losing or anything like that, but just like what that first team they played was at Idaho or somebody like that, and they won by like
24-10 or something.
24-10 or something. Yeah, and it was like tied in the fourth quarter. But they've slowly gotten just better and better.
They
I mean,
have.
they beat the shit out of Illinois last week.
Yep. We were all on the Illinois cover, I think, too. So they they killed them. They have been looking really great. And like, if you would have asked me after week one, uh, if Oregon would ever be number one, I would have told you no. I said
Mhm.
no, there's no way. So yeah, they've been playing good. They just keep on getting better and better. It seems like, unlike Alabama, who kind of did the opposite and just kind of got worse and worse. And Auburn's always been bad. But we'll go ahead and start the college pick'em. Not the college pick'em. Excuse me. We'll do our top 12.
Yeah.
So, who wants to start this one off? I think I went first last time. Max, you want to go ahead and be first?
Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
Let me see. We got Oregon 1, um, Georgia 2, Clemson 3, BYU 4, Ohio State. Now, let me change that. I'm going to go Texas 5, Penn State 6, Ohio State 7, 8 Miami, 9 Tennessee, 10 Indiana, 11 Texas A&M, 12 Boise State.
Okay.
You want me to
Tennessee's
go?
in there pretty high. Interesting. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're high. You like Tennessee Max?
I mean, if the season ended right now, they have a better win than A&M,
Mhm.
better win than most of everybody up there,
Yeah.
They
I mean, I don't like them. I don't think they're great, but I mean, a win
they're
over
gonna
over Bama is, it's
and
pretty good. Pretty good.
they have the prove it game in 2 weeks, or not this weekend, but next weekend they play at Georgia. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
um, my top 12. If you want me to go, Alex.
Yeah. Got it.
Um, I still have Georgia 1. I think they're the best team in the country. I have Oregon 2, Clemson 3, Iowa State instead of BYU at 4, Penn State 5, Texas 6. But I really think Ohio State's better than Texas. But 7 Ohio State, 8 Miami, 9 Texas A&M, 10 Indiana, and I've moved Notre Dame into the 11th spot for now and then Boise State 12.
Taylor, I really hate you because our top 12 is almost the same.
What I'm assuming it's like Ohio State and Texas and Penn State we have mixed up.
Yes, you're 100% correct. So
Those are so
me,
interchangeable.
yeah.
And they'll
So
be interchanged by matchups. Like they won't let two
mhm.
conferences play in the first round. I don't think so.
So I have Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Clemson 3, BYU 4. So I have BYU. You have Iowa State.
State, yeah.
5 Ohio State, 6 Texas, 7 Miami, 8 Penn State, 9 Texas A&M, 10 Notre Dame, 11 Indiana, and 12 Boise State. Outside looking in, Alabama, Iowa State, and then also you can throw in Tennessee right there as well.
I'll put Alabama in if when they beat LSU.
Yeah, Alabama beats LSU. I think it's good. Man, the one thing I hate seeing right now is all the Big Ten teams. I hate to say this, but we need Indiana to blow a game. We need them to blow one. We need them to lose to somebody other than Ohio State, because if they don't,
I'd
you know,
rather,
they're
I'd
gonna
rather,
make it.
yeah, because if they're one loss, they're in.
Yeah, they're gonna be in. So, well, I'm not praying on someone's downfall, or maybe even Ohio State to lose. Ohio State loses 2 games, and I mean, if they would have lost this week, we haven't really talked about that. I'll kind of go into it just a little bit real quick because that's kind of an important game. Almost
Hmm.
losing to Nebraska. I mean, they did not look good. Will Howard, I mean, he's looking okay, but their whole team just didn't look prepared for this game. They obviously could be looking forward to this game this week, but they did not look good, and they're kind of questionable. It's kind of
Oof.
funny. They're kind of looking like some of the SEC teams, kind of looking shaky. That skill gap between the top teams and the lower teams is definitely decreased the
Hmm.
most since the I mean college football in a long time. So that was a little tangent right there. But all right, we'll go into our college pick'em. I'll start it off. Our first game. We're gonna save the big ones for last, but we'll start off in the SEC with Ole Miss versus Arkansas. Mississippi is favored by 7. The total is 53.5. Arkansas offensively looked amazing this past week. I liked how they played. Ole Miss little shaky. This started off against Oklahoma, but I'm gonna go with Ole Miss to money line. Ole Miss money line. That's it. It's a really lame pick, but I'm not going with -7 against the Arkansas team that looks that good. Um, I think they're gonna play good until they play Georgia, and then they'll officially be out. So that's what I have. Taylor, go.
I have the same thing as you. I took the easy way out and took Ole Miss money line
It's a
because, which tells you I wouldn't bet the game because the
mm-hmm,
money line. I don't even think I wrote the money line down for that because I don't think they had it posted anywhere, which means it's probably like plus 1,400 or something like
mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
So, or
Don't
yeah, I don't know.
you have Arkansas plus 220
Well,
right
I
now.
have the Arkansas money line down because
Yeah.
that if you if you're gonna bet a money line in that game for real, you would bet Arkansas. You wouldn't bet Ole Miss
Mm-hmm.
unless you put in a parlay.
Yeah. Next.
I'm taking Arkansas money line.
I
I
like it
just
too. I like it.
I just feel like they got a good shot at beat. Ole Miss hasn't looked great. I mean, even against Oklahoma, they didn't. It wasn't pretty.
They can't run the ball.
Oklahoma's not good. No.
They can't run the ball. And I will say this. I heard somebody say this that there's rain forecasted. And it's in Arkansas. There's rain forecasted. If they can't run the ball, and they cannot run the ball. Like, listen,
And
we make
Arkansas. Go ahead.
Alex likes to make fun of Jackson Dart a lot, but his job's a lot harder because he can't fucking run the ball. That's all I had to say. What were you about to say, Max?
I was saying over the past 2 years, Ole Miss and Arkansas have had some crazy games. Go
Yeah.
look at the past couple years from Arkansas, Ole Miss. They're always crazy.
Trivia question. Do you want to know? Do you know the last time Ole Miss won at Arkansas?
1833.
It was a couple years ago. No, did they lose that one?
The same year that Auburn had Cam Newton, 2010. That's the last
Jesus.
time. Yeah, they have not
Mm,
won there. Yeah.
I was a little off.
For whatever reason, and they do play crazy games, not just do you remember like is that the game where the dude like
Threw it
they
behind his head and
threw it behind
he
his head
saved
and like
Alabama.
yeah,
Yeah.
saved
That one,
Alabama?
and then
That was in Oxford too.
either last year, or the year before, or within 3 years, they had another crazy game. It went to or like it was final play. They had
The
another one.
triple
I think it was
overtime
in
game.
Arkansas, but
It was in Ole Miss.
yeah, yeah,
It was the year it was like Kiffin's first year. It went like triple overtime. It was like
yeah,
43-42. And also
yeah.
the next year when the Kiffin to Auburn rumors were going, and it was like they had and then like that Arkansas team had like 2 wins, and Ole Miss was like had 2 losses or 1 loss, and they went in Arkansas and lost like they were down 42-0 at like halftime. Like it was like negative. It was like 20 degrees. It had like negative wind chill, and the Ole Miss players didn't look like they wanted to be there. Weird game.
Nah.
I'll watch it though. Although it's during the Auburn game, but
All right, Max, I'm gonna toss this one to you. Vandy versus Auburn. Auburn is favored by 6.5. It is at Auburn. The total is 48.5. Who do you have?
So is Pavia playing?
he's gonna play. I mean, he's just been hurt since the Kentucky game. Like he got hurt in the
He's
Kentucky game.
he's gonna be playing, but he'll be
They
hurt.
say he's got a bad ankle.
Mhm.
That's what they say. It's like an Achilles thing. I mean, if you watched him against Texas, he didn't look 100%. They did play Texas good though.
Yeah.
Auburn's at home. Give me Auburn to cover.
Okay.
Because they're at home.
I am also. Jeez, I hate picking Auburn. Every time I've picked
No,
them,
don't pick them. Don't pick
they've
them.
lost.
Please don't
And
pick
then when
them.
I pick against them, they won last week against
Pick against
Kentucky.
them. I need you. Please pick
So
against.
listen to me. I would say Auburn's gonna win, but that's not the bet I'm gonna place. I'm gonna go with an under 48.5. That's the bet I want for this game. I don't want to touch it. I'm going the under. That's my bet. I I refuse to pick it because Auburn just doesn't care about my picks. They do the opposite. So Taylor, I'll let you have the last word on this one.
But funny enough, on that over under, I think if you go back to any non-Power Five game this year, I'm trying to think. I think that under would have hit in every single game. Because they lost 21-14 to Cal. They lost 24-14 to Arkansas. No, it would have. It didn't. It would have. Well, yeah, it's 48.5, so it would have hit. And
Georgia
then
would have been over.
31-13.
Oh yeah.
No, and then
Well, I wish y'all
Oklahoma.
had bet over field goals for the
Actually,
Giants game.
ironically, and then Oklahoma was at 48, and then 24-10 with Kentucky. Yeah, so yeah, under's a good bet. I told the guys earlier, I feel like this is that trap line that they put out that got me with Mississippi State, Arkansas last week, where they throw a number out and it doesn't make sense to you. Like I didn't understand after watching how bad Arkansas had played, uh, them getting 7 at Mississippi State and how scrappy they were. It's because they want. So I'm not gonna fall for the trap, and I'm taking Auburn to cover. I think this one might surprise people. This might be that game where everybody picks the upset because everybody's like, that's gonna be the popular pick to pick Vandy to win, and so I wouldn't be shocked if Auburn won by 2 scores, but I'm not doing that. Just 6.5.
All right. Taylor, you're gonna go first on this one. Florida versus UGA. UGA favored by 16.5. The total is 52.5. The
I mean,
what you got?
Florida is gonna get destroyed in this game.
They've been
I mean,
playing better.
this is gonna be murder. I mean, we're talking about Aaron Hernandez murder style. Give me Georgia to cover. I know they played well against Kentucky, but I've watched Auburn last. I mean, Kentucky is awful. I'm not so
Offensively.
sure that I would Kentucky could beat Mississippi State. They might be the worst. I think they're the worst team in the SEC.
You know, it's
So
funny. I low key think Missouri might be the worst team, which is
and he's out. He's definitely not playing this week. He's probably out for a
yeah.
while.
Um,
I think he had the Jalen Hurts surgery. Or was it the Tua surgery? I can't remember. The one that sprained their ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had the tight rib surgery. Is that what it's
I
called?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
have Florida covering. Listen to me. They've been playing good. Georgia, they've also been playing good recently. I just think for some reason Florida's going to cover. So give it to me.
Okay.
Max. Let's go, Harrison Barnes. 2 points. He has to get 8. All right, sorry.
You need the hotline.
Who they just throw that to?
Max, your pick.
It was Pickens, I believe. No, it's 11. That's Van Jefferson.
All right, good. I'm gonna take Georgia to cover. I I want to believe Florida could keep it close, but I just feel like I would be sitting they're after the game thinking, why the fuck did I pick Florida to cover? You know,
Yeah.
I just feel like that might happen. So I'm gonna take Georgia cover.
Probably the smart pick. I'm gonna be regretting mine later. Oregon versus Michigan. Oregon is favored 14.5. The total is 44.4. Uh, Taylor put on here the money line is big, the biggest money line he's seen. Uh, I have Oregon covering Michigan. They went to is it Warren, their quarterback last week against
Hmm.
Michigan State, and they still look like booty, but I'm happy that they went to him. I think he's probably their best option. He throws a lot of interceptions, but he's the one person that will throw the ball actually. Because if you put in orgy, then it will be an orgy of running the whole time because that's all they can do with him. Uh,
Speaking of orgies,
Yeah, buddy.
Oh
you
yeah.
know what you did.
It's so funny that so hold on. I didn't post it, so they're probably thinking like, "What are you talking about?" Last week we didn't post the NFL podcast just because the video quality of it was so bad for some reason, and I didn't make it as well. But if it would have got posted, they talked about me not being there because I was in an orgy, which is
An all male orgy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not confirmed or denied, and I'm not going to take any questions on it. But I was not there, and I had plans. But and it was my birthday last week. So there were celebrations,
Your
anyways,
birthday was not Thursday.
it was the day before, and some things got planned for the day after. But we're not gonna go on to that topic too much.
Sleep.
Yeah, basically,
We need to talk about Ohio State, Penn State.
we're
Well, Max.
we're saving that for the last one. You
Oh,
said the big ones for last. Kind of like I did in the
why are we
orgy
putting it at
last
the
week.
top of the list then?
That was because they're playing at 11, and I read it off a list, and it comes by time zones. So that's
Anyways, Oregon versus Michigan. Oregon's gonna cover. Michigan's bad. I do like that they went to Warren. He's the better quarterback on their roster. Max, you got it.
Who we got? Oregon, Michigan.
Oregon,
mm,
Michigan.
Oregon covers. Michigan offense.
Mm-hmm.
What offense?
Exactly.
Oregon covers.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Oregon covers because Oregon could win 21-3 or something like that. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if Michigan's gonna score. So
Exactly.
I think this is an easy cover. This line actually might go up. We do these on Mondays. I bet it instead of going down a couple points, it might actually go up a couple points. So I'm glad we got it at 14.5.
I will say it's at the big house. That will help Michigan out some, but
It
hey,
didn't has not helped them all year.
Oregon. I hate to say this, but it seems like every good team this year has had a slip up, and it could happen. That could be one thing. We come back and look at me saying this, watch it. I don't think they're going to lose, but it could be a closer game than you would think it was going to be. Uh, Louisville versus Clemson. I think. Hold on, Taylor. Did you put an 11 rank on Louisville? I think you meant that for Clemson. Did you?
Yeah, it's meant for Clemson. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have Clemson covering this one big. It's 10.5. I think they'll cover very well. They've been playing awesome. Cade Klubnik slowly, surely sneaking in to the Heisman conversation. Total is 61.5. I don't know why I said 0.5. 61.5. I like the under for the total, but give me Clemson. They've been playing good. Klubnik's playing good. Louisville's had a kind of tough stretch here, and I think it's just going to be one of those games that just had a lot to play. Like they've been playing a lot of close games. I think they're going to be wore out. So Taylor,
Yeah, I agree with Alex. It's gonna be ugly. It's not gonna be close. Louisville sucks hard. Clemson at going to the ACC title game. The officiator, even if it just got close, there would be some new rule created by the ACC to make sure it didn't happen. Like they go on the field and arrest like the quarterback for Louisville or something like that. So Clemson wins by a quarterback arrest
I like it. What are their odds?
plus 450.
Max,
Sean Watson's not attending the game. He's injured.
move your
Wait,
mic.
Um,
Move
Who
your
your
mic
mic?
closer to your
We
face.
didn't hear what you said. It sounded like
How can you? It's directly beside my mouth.
All right, I heard that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I said Deshaun Watson might be in attendance.
Uh-huh.
He's been hurt.
Mm.
So it may want to go Louisville here. Think about that.
I don't know if I was at actually never mind. That might encourage that might encourage the Clemson team. They might be inspired by a true leader like him to come in and really leave it all out there and you know, true inspiration.
And I heard, and he'll give them all. He'll get them all happy ending massages before the game, probably too.
True.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
I'm taking
Um,
Clemson to
eh,
cover.
Clemson cover.
Max, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. SMU versus Pittsburgh. This is gonna be one of the most fun games to watch, I believe. So SMU is favored by 7.5. Pittsburgh is undefeated. SMU has one loss. What do you think?
Give me, give me Pittsburgh money line.
Pittsburgh money line. I think that's a great bet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know too much about him, but it looks good.
No, I agree with you. I have Pittsburgh money line as I have Pittsburgh covering, not money line, but I think it's gonna be a really good game. Uh, Pittsburgh's a fun team. SMU's a fun team. They're both kind of like sneaking around in the ACC right now for who's good, who's not. Um,
What's the
excuse me,
line?
excuse me. SMU is Big 12, right?
SMU's Big
Yeah,
12.
no,
No, they're
ACC.
ACC.
Are
This is
they?
ACC
They're
versus
ACC,
ACC.
yeah.
Okay,
This
okay,
is
okay.
ACC versus ACC.
Yeah.
How do you
So
not know that? Obviously, the Atlantic Coast Conference, SMU in
yeah,
Texas. They're on the
exactly.
Atlantic Coast.
Forgive me, but yeah, this will
Yeah.
be a fun game for them. I have Pittsburgh covering. Taylor, what you think?
What's the line I put down?
7.5.
Give me Pitt to cover.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I don't. If it was shorter, I'd take the money line, but that's a lot of points. Pitt's
it
at
is.
home too, correct?
Yes, Pitt's at home.
Wow.
Yep.
Pitt's
Yeah.
getting 7.5 at home.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Is somebody hurt?
I don't know much. I don't know much about Pittsburgh. I had to kind of like look at their highlights and all that every game, but yeah,
Yeah,
Pitt's at home.
okay. Yeah, Pitt plus 7.5.
Um,
Cash it.
yeah, I'm gonna go for you first on this one, Taylor. Texas A&M at South Carolina. A&M minus 2.5. Total 44.5. This is a great one too.
Give me Texas A&M money line. That's the easy way out. Here's the thing: if South Carolina had somewhat of an offense, this game they would probably win. But A&M will they A&M will probably make some mistakes in this game, and like as y'all know, y'all played them. The defensive ends on South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
their defensive lines legit. It's gonna be hard to run the ball, so they're really probably gonna need Weigman. I don't think Marcel Reed is gonna be very effective in this game. So um, I'm gonna take Texas A&M money line, but this could be a sneaky one. But I'm riding with them, so I'll go down with the ship.
Max, you got it.
Give me South Carolina money line. Texas A&M loses. Um, South Carolina's defense is elite. Texas A&M can't throw the ball. They're a running team. Got elite defense. Yes, South Carolina's offense hasn't looked good majority of the season, but if you look at what Lenore Sellers, played like against Oklahoma, didn't play bad against Alabama. He had two bad fumbles, but as far as throwing the ball, he actually had, one of his better games all year.
Mm-hmm.
So their offense hasn't been, stagnant. They've moved the past two games, they've moved the ball well against Alabama and Oklahoma. So I think if it's plus being at home, me and Alex both know how crazy South Carolina Stadium can get. It can get really loud, and if Texas A&M allows South Carolina to be in it, um, I just think South Carolina can pull it off.
Yeah, this is a night game.
Shane
I'm
Beamer keep his job.
I'm on board.
Yep.
I have South Carolina winning. I don't like the Texas A&M two quarterback thing. I don't think either one of them really brings like something electric to the game this week against a good South Carolina line. If they could open it up and throw it, I think it'd give them a better chance. But I really didn't see too much from either of them that shows that they're going to be able to do that. And if they're just going to try to run the ball against South Carolina, that's going to be tough because that front seven that they have is great, and that D line that they have is great. South Carolina, I think they'll have some little tricks up their sleeve for this game. Try and get a big win at home. The Cradium and Stacey, when they play Sandstorm, I mean the whole stadium is shaking. So it'll be a great game. It's fun. Yep. Like when we were there, like I'm not lying, the stadium is shaking.
Our feet were shaking.
Yes.
We were there in 2010. Alabama was number 1 when South Carolina beat us, and it was absolutely nuts.
Yes. It's going to be a great game, though.
You guys have, you know what? I've almost been talked out of keeping my pick because even by myself, but I'm going to say Texas A&M defense is going to win them the game on a pick six or some type of big defense.
Smart. I mean, I could see that too. That's what's going to have to win it. If Texas A&M defense shows up and plays really well, they're going to win, no problem.
Exactly.
This is going to be, I believe this is a low scoring game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I agree.
What did I put for the over under in that? I mean, I wouldn't touch
it's 44.5, so it's a pretty. It's a low one. I want.
Yeah, that's super low, but like this is gonna be one of those like 17-14, 21-17 type things.
It's gonna be 24-23. South Carolina's gonna win. Watch it.
Texas A&M defense wins in the game.
Duke versus Miami. I'm gonna go first on this one. Miami is favored by 20. Duke barely lost to was it SMU that they lost to in overtime this week? I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Duke only has 2 losses on the year. They're a good team. I have them covering 20 against Miami. I know Miami is at home. I just think Miami is a good team. Excuse me, Duke has a decent team, and Miami's defense hasn't been that good. So I just have a Duke cover. Max, what do you think?
I'm going to take Miami cover. I've been picking against Miami the past couple weeks, and they've been proving me wrong. So I know Duke's pretty good. They have a pretty good year so far, but I'm gonna take Miami to cover.
Okay, Taylor.
Duke's gonna cover. This kind of reminds me of like the Louisville Miami thing. It'll be something like that where they just give up too many points to cover 20. They'll probably score 50, but they'll probably give up 35. I don't know if they'll score 55. So
yeah.
Not it won't be. It's not gonna be one of those where it's like, oh, it's Miami. Miami might lose. No, it's gonna be a boring cover. Cam Ward will put up some more numbers.
He'll have good stats.
Like, yeah.
Taylor, you're gonna start this one off. Texas Tech versus Iowa State. Iowa State minus 14.5. Total is 56.5.
So I put this one on here. I almost didn't, but there wasn't a lot to pick this week because I normally go in and try to pick 11 for everybody out there. Put this one on here towards the end because it's at least got playoff implications for Iowa State. I think Texas Tech is very bad. If I'm right about that, I haven't watched them. A lot of these times, I'm just gonna ride Iowa State. Iowa State's very good. Texas Tech very bad. 14.5. Yeah, Iowa State.
Texas Tech is not very bad. They're like.
I see. I was gonna say like I don't know. That
Texas
sounds
Tech
bad.
Is 5-3 this year. They're not a bad team. And Iowa State, they almost got beat by your boy last week.
Oh, so, the fire Gus stuff has already started at UCF, by the way.
Good. Actually, not good. I like Gus. He's a funny guy. But I have Texas Tech covering this game. Iowa State is gonna kind of play shaky, I think. So I think they just have a cover against them that's pretty good. So, Max.
Give me Texas Tech cover.
Okay.
What are you looking at, Alex?
Your voice did the thing again.
Not that bad on that one.
What is it? What does it do? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Can you?
It's weird. It's like the first thing that you say, it kind of does it sometimes. I don't know, but it sounds perfect now. You're good.
Okay.
That time it definitely did it.
Again?
It did it again right there.
No, that was me.
That was
That was
him.
me.
That was him doing it.
Oh. Okay. Everybody pick for this one. Max,
Yeah,
you
everybody
said
did.
Texas
Y'all
Tech.
both
Okay.
took Tech, and I took Iowa State. So I
Cool.
got to make a
Okay.
move. I'm behind y'all, so I'm not gonna win by just taking the same thing as y'all.
Yeah.
I
Max,
mean,
you got Kentucky
same thing
versus
as me, you win.
Tennessee.
Kentucky versus Tennessee.
Tennessee minus 16.5 against Kentucky.
And
Give
it's
me
They're
Ken-
not. Go ahead.
give me Kentucky. Wait, what's that? Tennessee.
yeah.
Yeah.
Give me Tennessee cover. If it was at Kentucky, I would definitely go with Kentucky. But Kentucky can't move the football forward on offense, so Tennessee's not great at it either. But um, and Kentucky is so, and with a better defense, they're gonna win.
Yeah, I have Tennessee covering as well. Kentucky just no offense and against that good defense. That's one thing Tennessee does have. They have a great defense. It's gonna be a tough day for them. This could be like a 23-3 game or something like that. The under, I like the under. It's 45.5. I like the under on this one as well.
So, all right. I think that's a trap. Um, I just watched the whole game against Kentucky. Here's gonna be the problem. Yeah, Tennessee can't throw the ball. Kentucky's run defense is god awful. Tennessee's got the second best running back in the league. I think they're gonna run all over them. Um, and I don't think Kentucky might not score. I mean, they scored 10 on Auburn, and they really only scored three because Peyton Thorne threw a pick six at like the 10-yard
Mm-hmm.
line. Um, Tennessee's defense is better than Auburn's defense, which Auburn's is not bad, but it's better. Yeah, like I could see this being, but I could also see Kentucky quit. Kentucky, you got to watch out. Kentucky might be on quit alert, and they could just give up in this game if it gets ugly in the first quarter, like 21-0 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in Kentucky. But yeah, so I got Tennessee covering easy. This might be a blowout.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll go to the big game that Max was talking about earlier. Ohio State at Penn State. Big question is Drew Allers playing? I think he probably will. I know he got hurt. I think
If he wasn't playing, that line would not be
yeah.
that
And
small.
I think he's definitely going to play. He's been playing good. Penn State did kind of have a close game last week against who was it that they played? It was Wisconsin, and it was close until they threw that pick six, and it was just
Hmm.
all Penn State from there. A little earlier, no, Alabama killed Wisconsin this year, so uh, man, I'm gonna go. If Drew Aller didn't get hurt, I'd feel much more confident about this. But this is the big noon game, so is it 12 or
Yeah,
whatever?
it's not a night game. So
Horrible, horrible time for a
yeah,
game like
Fox, what
that.
the fuck?
Yeah, whoever runs that and like makes that game time, like use your brain. Like no one
Well,
wants to watch.
they are because they're not gonna compete with the SEC on ABC or
I don't
anything
care.
like that.
This is a game that needs to be at night. I need to be at a bar at 7, and this game's starting up, and a couple of beers flowing, and I'd be good to go. Get a little rowdy.
Hmm.
Um,
Sid come out.
I don't know who that is.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, I'm just gonna take it. Give me Penn State. Penn State to win. Ohio State, I mean, they were probably just looking forward to this game last week against Nebraska, but what I saw was horrible. Penn State at home, play big. Drew Aller's playing. He's going to do good. I think the big difference is Penn State's defense. They've looked good all year, and they're not going to fail me now. Penn
I
State at
uh,
home.
I agree. I wanna say something about this. Why I'm taking Penn State plus 4.5, but it's something Max has said before, so I'm gonna wait to see if he says it. It's about a certain Ohio State quarterback, but I'm gonna leave that for Max.
Mm,
So, um, I think Penn State wins. But I'm gonna bitch out and take the 4.5 instead of taking money line for outright.
you're not a man. You're not a
I'm
man like me.
I'm high on Penn State. I think if Penn State wins this game, I think they're playing Oregon in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty high on Penn State, but take it away, Max.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Penn State too with the points. Um, to cover. Um, yeah, I don't not like Ohio State's quarterback, Will,
Howard.
what's his name?
Will
Howard.
Howard.
Um, he's not bad, but I don't think he's an elite quarterback. Like I said, I don't think he's gonna go win you a game at the end of the game if you need it to happen. He'll do something dumb. So I'm gonna go Penn State to cover. Yeah, Penn State cover.
That's what I was insinuating because when we picked the Oregon game a couple weeks back, you said if it's close, I don't trust Will Howard, and I don't trust Will Howard if it's close. So
I mean, I agree. I think, yeah. I mean, he slid at the end of the game, so that's something. There is one more game to pick, guys. This is one I added in late. Florida State versus North Carolina.
oh my God,
North Carolina is only favored by 2.5. Max, I need you right now. Deep thought. What are you gonna do if Florida State loses this game?
If Florida State loses this game, I'm gonna cut my clock off and become a girl. How about that?
do you
uh,
have something you want to tell us? I mean,
Florida
that's
State loses.
you,
there's nothing wrong with that, and I will support you in that. And I will. What will your name be?
Maxine.
Maxine.
She/her, I believe. Yes.
Max comes off to me as like a they
Max
person.
Stein Cena.
Max comes off to me. Max seems more like a they
Yeah.
than a he,
I'm a
she,
Caesar.
her.
Azizer.
Azizer.
I'm a Caesar.
Taylor. What will you do, Taylor? And you can't say joke anymore because I think you've been doing that for 3 weeks now. I need something else. Yeah. What are the results?
It works.
Reversed.
Mhm.
Taylor, what will you do if Florida State loses to North Carolina?
If Florida State loses to North Carolina, God, I mean, it's gonna happen. I will go hang out in a room with Jerry from Subway and drop the soap.
Mm. Mm.
So you'll get raped.
Yeah, I'll let myself get raped.
Okay. So you're gonna offer your cheat stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty gay of you.
Yeah. What a statement.
Coming from the dude
Not
that's
what I
gonna
would
be
do,
a
but what you would do.
what are you cutting your cock off?
That's okay.
I just still got my balls.
I was gonna say
Stop. This is
All right.
Alex
yeah.
is gonna edit this out probably.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and move.
Oh, whoa! What are you gonna do?
What
Yeah.
am I? I'm gonna continue my life like it is. I'm not gonna do anything gay like y'all. That's for sure.
So those male orgies
Well,
you've
if
been
Florida
going
State
to on
loses,
Thursdays?
yeah.
If Florida State loses, I will personally go to North Korea and surrender myself and become a part of their country and stay a citizen for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, how's that one?
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it because Alex will cut it out.
Actually, that'd be a lot of work for me. I'd probably just stay in here. So don't say it,
I'm-
please. Okay, the locks of the week. Taylor, I want you to give us your lock.
Okay, hold on. I have to recover. I just sold my body basically because North Carolina's gonna lose.
Hey, it's only 2.5. So actually, in North Carolina, well, they did just kill Virginia. So hey,
Mm-hmm. And Alex had that. So we're gonna do my sneaks or my locks first. What do you want me to do?
lock, and then we'll end off with sneaks.
So my lock of the week. We talked about him earlier on the pod. Indiana is only a 7.5 point favorite going into Michigan State this week. I don't think that's enough. I think Indiana rolls. getting ready for their much anticipated matchup against Ohio State in a couple weeks. Indiana is not a team I'm worried about looking ahead, especially because it's not the next game. And their look ahead this week would be Michigan. I don't know how you look ahead to Michigan. There's nothing to look at. So yeah, Indiana minus 7.5 at Michigan State. And by the way, I don't think I've hit one of these yet, so fade me. Michigan State's winning.
All right, mine is Duke covers 20 at Miami. Kind of talked about it earlier. I think that Miami will win definitely, but I think Duke has a good enough team, and Miami's defense is bad enough that they can stay within 20 points this entire game, maybe in a backdoor cover. So, Max.
My lock is Oregon minus 14.5 versus Michigan. My sneaky is South Carolina money line versus Texas A&M. Lock it in. I was 2-0 last week. Look it again this week.
I like the sneaky a lot. My sneaky for this upcoming week is Texas Tech covers versus Iowa State. I know we kind of talked about it earlier. My other one is Army covers 23.5 versus Air Force. Air Force has won one game this year. Army is a great little rivalry. They're going to probably try and score as many points as possible. That's what you typically do in football. So, yeah, I think Army covers 23.5 versus Air Force. Taylor, what is your sneaky?
My sneaky. I'm gonna go with Illinois. This is like a degenerate gambler type sneaky, but they're +3 at home to Minnesota. I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. So I feel like that's money, which means it won't be. Um, yeah.
All right. Well, that is all that we have for this week. Our NFL podcast will be coming out Friday. Look out for that one. But thank y'all for watching. This was the Weekends Over podcast, and the podcast is over too. So see y'all later. See y'all Friday.
Goodbye.
Chewbacca?